Hey guys, Jonah Johnson, and my cohort to my left here is Brian Reeb, and welcome to another PCT in the field. And this time of year we get excited because we get to talk about our results of our plot system that Brian and our team that Brian led us through this year through the growing season of 2020. And we had some really good results out of our plots this year, so we wanted to share some of those with you and let you know some of the resources are out there that what we use to evaluate our products, just not here in Ohio, right Brian?
Correct. Thanks, Jonah. Like you mentioned, we're going to go through some of our results that we had here. The one we're going to cover today was from a study that was done on the PTI farm in Pontiac, Illinois, with the Precision Research Group out there. They were nice enough to put a replicated trial for us out with some in-furrow corn products. So we're going to go through that, kind of how they set it up and what they looked at.
So for you guys that don't know, Precision Planting's a group that we work very closely with, and of course they make planer parts and different tools we can put on different pieces of equipment to meter and be more precise. And so one of the nice things out at the research station out in Illinois, like Brian mentioned, have a fantastic facility, and they were gracious enough to let us put some trials out. Okay, Brian, so why don't you tell us about some of the treatments they had out there this year?
All right, so in this trial, we looked at a combination of our Premium P corn starter with micros, BioComplete, Sun 5, and Sea Green Amino Plus, and that was in the on-seed in-furrow placement. It was run through their furrow jet system of their planter, but we only use the on-seed portion in this trial, in this setup scenario here.
So these products, when we've stacked together, we've had these in our plots this year and last year, and we've had some really nice results that responded to those, and our results are all made public, and Brian can share more of that here in a little bit. But Brian, why don't you walk us through what did they look at out there, maybe their use rates, and what kind of results did we see?
Okay, yeah, so we looked at 3 gallons of Premium P with micros. We looked at 1 pint of BioComplete, 1 pint of Sun 5, and 8 ounces of the Sea Green Amino Plus. And then they applied that, like I said, in furrow at planting on their corn plot.
What type of results did we get, Brian?
So we saw an average of just over 5 bushels per acre on their replicated corn trial compared to the control. So plus 5 bushels. Then that in turn, they do the calculations for return on investment, so the ROI of that treatment. And we saw a positive ROI there as well, up to 16, almost $18 an acre return on investment with that product treatment in combination there compared to the control.
So there on the screen we'll flash up our prices that we use for our products and all the use rates and the respective graphs that Brian was referencing. One last thing to mention, Brian, they talk a lot about fertilizer reallocation. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so you'll notice they give all the details for how they outlined everything like we mentioned here with planting date, hybrid, population, and so on. And another part that they put on there is their fertilizer reallocation. So they do that in all of their nutrient or in-furrow placement trials that they run on that farm. So they essentially take a portion of their, what would be their dry fertilizer program that they would normally apply. They take a portion of that out and reallocate those dollars and put that in their starter or their in-furrow for their nutrients at that time of placement. So this trial was set up with a fertilizer reallocation fee, and it's noted on there on this sheet, so you'll be able to see that and kind of how they did that. But that's something that they do, and they always do that. It's something that we usually get questioned on, where did that come from and what does that number mean? So that kind of shows you, if you're looking at your dry program, but you want to look at some more, at the moment in time fertilizer needs and looking at in-furrow on your planter, that gives you kind of an idea of how they do it and they move those dollars around. So
some of the benefits of that is you think about reallocating. Instead of putting that all out in your dry program in the fall, you can take some of that allotment of money like Brian mentioned and putting that into the spring, and what that's going to do is be more efficient in regards to your phosphorus fertilization, because we know we can argue, does phosphorus move a half inch, a quarter inch, what have you in a year, especially in a no-till and growing environment. So you think about how long it's going to take for that phosphorus you apply in, let's say, the fall of 2020 to reach your corn or soybeans in 2021. And so obviously when you apply that fertilizer band with the seed early on, those low salt formulations, it's going to be much more efficient in that plant getting at those young roots as we're growing in the season. So that's where that reallocation helps shifting funds around to addressing needs more timely, to Brian's point. So with that, I hope that helped understand a little bit about this trial we had in 2020, and we look forward to our 2021 results. And so for today, for my counterpart, Brian Reeve, and myself, Jonah Johnson, this is for PCT Sunrise. Thanks for watching.